There's a guy named Reid Hoffman I want to tell you about. Reid Hoffman was one of the founders of PayPal, but he's most known for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is something that older people use to get jobs. Maybe some of you guys are on it. I don't know how well it works. I've had the same job forever. But it is really what he does is he's taken that money and he plays a dark money game in order to get the money back into the hands of left-wingers in pro-China entities. Now, one thing that's interesting in his history is he brought a convicted sex offender by the name of Jeffrey Epstein to a big dinner with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and others, and the goal was to rehab Epstein's reputation via donations to MIT Media Lab in particular. He kind of apologized for this, but it was only after it blew up as a scandal, and he also sort of blamed MIT for doing it, so it was one of those half apology things, but he did help launder Jeffrey Epstein's reputation, so not a great guy, not off to a good start. The other thing he's done is he's made LinkedIn the most friendly towards China of all the social media outlets. So even Facebook and Twitter, not exactly right-wing corporations, right? They were kicked out of China in 2009. LinkedIn was able to stay until 2021, until they sufficiently ticked off Xi Jinping for something. So he has done a lot of work to help Xi Jinping and the CCP overlords. Now, he is also one of the stars of my colleague Peter Schweizer's book, Red-Handed, which came out this year, which I recommend. And Peter reported on how Hoffman met regularly with Chinese regulators. And he was so buddy-buddy with them, he was actually doing PR, not just for LinkedIn, but also for places like Airbnb, which was not operational in China, and Reid Hoffman helped them. He also sits on the board of Microsoft, which is increasingly pro-China, and he invested in something called Musical.ly, which turned into TikTok, which I know some of you don't want to hear this, but TikTok is Chinese mind control. It is. It's designed to distract all you guys, make sure you do nothing productive. And some of you are good at it. I've seen some of them. They're good. But it's heavily restricted in China, but not in the United States. Why? They want us distracted. They want us, barf emoji, heart emoji, poop emoji, like while we're watching the reels. And it's just, you can't stop scrolling. It's called scroliosis. It's a symptom. I mean, it's not a symptom, but the symptoms are it's a bad affliction. We have it. Some of us have it. So he's praised the CCP's One Belt, One Road initiative, which is a debt trap scheme. It gets countries hooked on cheap infrastructure from China, and then they're in debt to China forever, and thus China can exert control economically, and he's spoken glowingly about this man Reid Hoffman has. And he's also worked with Microsoft, which Microsoft is the main purveyor of something called NewsGuard. NewsGuard is designed to try to take advertising away from conservative media. It's this group of people, Beltway establishment, some establishment Republicans, mostly Democrats, teaming up with Microsoft. And what they say on their mission statement is that their goal is to try to get advertisers to not advertise against content that NewsGuard doesn't deem as above board. They tend to use words like misinformation and disinformation and stuff like that. But what's their definition of that? Their definition of that is exactly the status quo, what you read in the New York Times front page or hear on CNN every night. That's their definition of truth. And their definition of truth is what they try to suggest to advertisers should determine where their advertising dollars go. Reid Hoffman partners with Microsoft, who runs NewsGuard. All this is very nefarious, and it's all designed to control the information that you guys all see.